Tabletopped will start after the following messages.
When four strangers meet for the first time, they unknowingly begin to unravel tightly kept secrets about their worlds. This place sucks. This realm sucks.
I don't mean to interrupt, but maybe speak about portals a little quieter?
You know how some people aren't really into science and magic mixing together?
That's just a story. Portals haven't existed for hundreds of years.
Armed with little true knowledge, but unfathomable curiosity, these four strangers set out in search of answers and form an unlikely bond.
I do see you, and I'd like to think that I'll be there when you're ready to talk about it.
He kind of relaxes for the first time around the group.
You keep putting yourself in danger for others, but who puts themselves in danger for you?
Join Ivy, Varys, Alara, and Ziva as they dive headfirst into the unknown. Follow us at Rainbow Dice Club on your favorite streaming platform, and find us at Rainbow Dice Club wherever you get your podcasts. Do you trust me?
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Tabletopped. It's me, Nick, your host, and today we are talking about festivals and holidays, how to build them and run them in your game. Around me, I have our intrepid co-hosts. Why don't we start with someone who usually brings up the rear? Who are you?
Hi, my name's Shade, and my favorite holiday or festival is Groundhog's Day. Because this all feels familiar.
How about you in the pink shirt?
I mean, this is pink? Oh, it is. I guess it's purple.
It's kind of like a Barney purple, you know, like that almost pink color.
Barney purple. I love that. Hi.
I'm Barney Purple.
Oh, God, puberty. Hi. Hi. Hey, it's me, Daniel. Nope, the name still sounds weird.
Still sounds in your head? Yeah, okay.
Geo.
Geo is what we're going
Geo,
with.
yeah.
I'm going with Geo now.
Yeah. All right, how about you?
No, wait, fuck. My favorite holiday is Christmas.
Okay, great. How about you?
It's me, Franco. I don't have a favorite holiday.
Oh, interesting.
I don't play favorites.
Don't play favorites. I appreciate it. Very egalitarian.
I enjoy Franco the most at Thanksgiving.
Sure.
Yeah. Franco's a great host.
You're free to do
Franco's Thanksgiving Day spread is something I legitimately look forward to all year.
Oh, good. I'm excited. We came up with some new ideas this year.
Ooh. It's like, one person doesn't get to eat, but everyone else gets to eat more.
The Hunger Games.
Yeah, and everyone
No, I
has
just
to
meant the
pull out of
menu.
He didn't gamify his...
You go in and you roll a nat one, you don't get to eat, but you have to watch everyone
There's
Dude, I
other
would just
facets of
leave.
my life than just gaming.
There is a bar in the North End that I want to go to with all of you where you roll a d20 and they will make you a specialty drink based off of what you roll, because they have a menu that's 1 to 20.
I think there's a couple of bars that do that.
Yeah, and if you, I think it's like called Behold Bar or something.
The one I went to was
yeah.
called the Chromatic Dragon. It's in
that's
Savannah,
cool.
Georgia.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
cool.
Yeah, but if you drink all of them, you get like this like extra specialty drink that you only people who have drank all of the 20 drinks, not in one night, obviously, but you know,
But
they
like
get
through a festival, you would drink these things.
Yeah,
Exactly.
like a beer
The
fest.
festival
Beer fest.
reward is that
Oktoberfest or
last
something.
drink.
Yeah, and on this topic, weird that we got back
And
here.
drinking also.
Yeah, Franco, you actually were telling us about a module that was a festival module that you ran that's system agnostic, and
Yes.
that was one of the things that kind of inspired us to do this episode, because it is, in your sense, like really fun and cool to do, and like
Yes.
from what you've told me, it's like I'm gonna put this in my game someday.
Before he gets started, I just want to put a pin in one
Can't wait
little
for this
thing.
one.
This is like the first time where I got us back on track.
Yeah.
I'm usually the other way around.
Good job, buddy.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
doing a
you
good
really
job
did.
right now
This
in
is
this
that
sentence.
one moment.
We were like in a car that has like a bad alignment and was slowly drifting to the left, and you grabbed the wheel and just righted us.
Yeah.
I mean,
Into a ditch.
nothing wrong with an evil alignment.
And that's true.
Anyway,
Franco.
Oh, you were just bragging that you were the one that got us back on track.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
For the listeners, if you subscribe to our Patreon, you can see the other episodes in which we were not brought back on trap.
Or any of our episodes over the last year.
Yeah. All right. So Franco, tell us about this.
Yeah, the module is called Barkeep on the Borderlands. It won an Ennie, which is great. It's by Prismatic Wasteland, W.F. Smith, and it features the work of a lot of. Am I muted again?
We were not. Keep going.
This is the third time we've recorded this episode. So it's by him and a lot of other people who have contributed to this module. Essentially, it is a pub crawl set in the Keep on the Borderlands, the famous module written by Gary Gygax. And it is essentially like 100 years or so after the events of the Keep on the Borderlands, where you show up and you're the adventurers and you do colonialism and you wipe out all the monsters and the indigenous people, and now you have secured the waste or whatever, or some bullshit like that.
I love the interpretation.
This module always reminds me of the movie At World's End, I think, where
the bar one.
Yeah, the bar one, where something slowly becomes like, oh no, this is a world end.
It's I won't spoil it too much. But essentially, so this is like 100 years later, and there is a festival kind of around this sort of like expulsion of all the orcs and goblins and stuff. Some of like the goblins do live in the keep now. And they sort of make up this like contingent like prankster gang or whatever that plays pranks throughout the events of the festival. It's like a 6-day festival. And the premise is basically that the monarch has been poisoned, and you're looking for either the ingredients to the antidote or the antidote itself. And you do
that by drinking in all the bars.
Yeah, because if you don't drink, you are looked at suspiciously, and so it's more helpful if you end up drinking. Also, if you reach drunk, you get some bonuses to your charisma.
But then there's a blackout mechanic.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So basically, if you're tipsy, you get some bonuses to charisma, and then if you're drunk, you get some of those bonuses. Which is okay. So let me explain the sobriety die.
Yeah.
So basically, based on your Constitution score or an equivalent score in the system of your choice, you roll a die. You have like a die assigned to you. So usually it's like a D8 or a D10. And then every time you drink, if you roll a 1, 2, or 3, you decrement your die size by 1. So you go from, D8 to D6, which is tipsy, and then D4, which is drunk. And then you go down to blackout after if you roll a 1 on your D4, on your drunk D4, then you become blackout drunk. And then the control of your character passes around the table on a D6 roll between the referee or the other player, or a player of your choice, or yourself, which is fun, but like sometimes people might not like that or whatever. Obviously, you can eschew whatever rules you want in anything that you play ever.
Honestly, I kind of like the idea. This is a great time to use random tables. You could like have them wander away from the group and then just roll what happened to them.
Yes, that's exactly.
Oh, really?
Yes, that is what's built into it, because basically it's like if you are blackout and you leave the party at any point, you're off screen, and then you roll randomly to see where you wind up and where you get found later.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I do that in real life sometimes.
You did that once. Is this the recording where you mentioned Savannah?
Yeah.
Okay. Just gonna remember when we were at my wife and I did a joint bachelorette party.
Yeah.
And Danny was the sergeant of honor on Rebecca's side, and we all just like went to Savannah, like just a big group of 17 people, and then we just like wandered around, and Danny just drifted away from the group because he's like, I used to live in Savannah, I know where I'm going. And we're just like, Danny, we lost you.
Right. See, because the thing was, I knew a quicker way, but everyone else knew a more certain way. And I was like, no, y'all can trust me, follow me. And then I didn't check.
Gio has a famously bad sense of direction.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, I do too.
No argument.
Yeah, it's fair enough.
Oh,
but I do love
no
that.
argument.
It's
is
not
something I've never
and it's
heard
not
you say.
better when I'm drunk. No one made the wrong decision to not follow me. I just
Yeah, that's fair enough. So back to
He's so mad at me. He won't even look at me.
back to festivals and holidays. So that's like a really like good template for like how you do it. Where
it's like a day by day thing as well. And then all of the locations that you can visit on this like pub crawl, there's like 20 locations. They all have like their own random tables. They all have like their own wacky characters and stuff. And like I think like half of them are written by like guest authors and stuff too. It's just really it's so fun. Like there's so many goofy things.
It seems really fun
from
what you've told us. But also I really like to use as like a format for building a festival / holiday. And that I think that the main things that it has is a theme, a clock, consequences and events, and rewards. Essentially, like there are like lots of really cool things that happen within the festival. There is a theme to the festival. You have 6 days to try to do your objective. But then, like you said, there's like fun NPCs, events, weird things that can pop up that your characters can like interact with.
The random encounter, there was a random encounter that was rolled because it's like chock full of encounters basically. But one of them that was rolled was like a cat shows up, and if you, I think it was, I forget exactly what it is, but like however,
it's a quadrupedal mammal.
Okay,
kind of has
like I forget what exactly what happened.
He's getting
but
back at you now.
I can't see for what. But like basically, it became this character's familiar.
Yeah.
And it's just like now that's just a familiar that he has.
Yeah.
And that's just in the game now. I think that is a really fun way to incorporate random tables into storytelling. Go listen to the Patreon because I'm really salty about this.
Yeah, we had an event. But I think that one thing that I really like about the format of that, if someone was to try to bring in their own sort of custom festival, is that I think that with like, would you guys start with a theme so that you can build those tables and build some stuff like that?
I'm going to talk for a long time.
Absolutely.
And I think I'm going to answer your question, and I might not. So relax, sit back. So in my world, I have successfully incorporated a festival on 2 occasions. In the first occasion, this was way back in my much younger days, before the pandemic. Where I had made a festival called the Pomabon Festival, which was just like a cider and wine sort of like autumnal harvest festival. And that festival was happening in this mountain valley. And its purpose was just, this is a time of year when like there's really good wine and cider in this location, and it goes on for a few days. And it was to get player characters to be like, this is why you're here. It was a festival.
It was a reason to be kind of thing.
It was a reason to be, and in that way, it was also a bit of world building, where it's like, yeah, these are really great apples. They make this really great cider, and they make this like apple wine, and it's just a great time. And then like these things that were occurring sort of around the festival. So in that sense, the festival was more of a backdrop, whereas in Franco's module, it was the purpose of the adventure. Which is just a separate way of doing it. And then the second festival, I sort of incorporated in my much older days this month. I did a Starlight Festival, which I didn't do enough research, but basically it was in this little town, this country town. There was one night of the year when all of the constellations could be seen. And it was called the Starlight Festival.
Yeah.
But the festival, again, was a deadline. The players had like a prophecy that at the night of this festival, something cataclysmic was going to happen. And they arrived in the town 4 days before the festival occurred. And they basically had until the night of the festival to solve things. And so the people were getting ready for it. There was like a lot of side quests, and people were like doing stuff because of the festival. They were in town, and they were trying to get things done in this order. And like the PCs could help or not help, which would affect how the festival went. And again, that wasn't the purpose of the adventure, but it was a major playing part. And I think in that sense, these festivals can be like in the backdrop. They're good for setting. They're good for like world building. But it also would be very interesting, I think, and I've never tried this because I never thought about it, but running the adventure through the festival as like part of the festival itself. That's a really good idea.
We actually do that once a year. That is what Icosahedrodome is. It's a big old festival for extraplanar creatures. But
everyone needs an excuse to party.
Yeah, but we only do days 19 and 20 of the 20-day festival.
Oh,
that's interesting.
Yeah, so we've
That's
never.
some lore we never knew.
Well,
Or was it said and I
I've
just
definitely
forgot?
said it.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
a number of
definitely some
times.
lore we didn't remember.
But yeah, it's lore you didn't remember. That's fine.
Here's a question
Yeah.
I have for all of you though about this is that, like what Daniel said,
Geo.
in your Geo, you mean? Yeah. So with you were talking about how you've usually used them as backdrops. This module that you were talking about, Franco, is much more of like the point, and in this kind of
I
season,
would say it's also kind of a backdrop. But
yeah, because there's like a goal that it's like the setting a little bit.
yeah.
Do you guys feel as though when you are trying to introduce a festival or something, we did that episode on Social Quest recently. Is it more like this is flavor and setting for the social quest or the normal game that you're running, or is there ever a time where you want to make a holiday or a festival the point of the session or the arc or whatever it is?
I've never really known how.
I'm sorry, what?
I never knew how to do it.
How to make the festival the point.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like, it's always been in the background. It's like, oh, they're having this festival. Now, play the adventure.
Well, that's also kind of Waterdeep has that sort of
yeah,
too, where it
Waterdeep
a
has that kind
calendar,
of
right?
stuff. I mean, the Forgotten Realms have quite a lot of holidays. Any established setting is going to have a lot of holidays and festivals and things like that. But specifically the module Dragon Heist, there's a whole bunch of stuff with festivals going on in those.
Oh, you know what's fun? Parades.
Parades, yeah.
It's always fun.
Yeah.
I hate parades.
In real life, me too.
Oh, yeah.
I
100%.
hate a lot of people together. I also hate
But a chase
loud
sequence
noises.
going through a parade?
Oh,
Lots
okay.
of
Yeah,
perfect.
gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Parades are obstacles and hurdles.
Yeah, totally.
Just like in real life.
Yeah, exactly.
Road closure.
Only the stakes are higher in the in the fantasy, right? So as far as making the festival the points of the game, I would do that for things that are you really want to have a fun one shot that does something a little bit different than what the group usually does. You want to have something that gives your group a chance to think outside the box, to really lean in on RP or specific elements of the game, and not have to worry about a holistic approach.
Yeah.
I just had a really great idea while you were talking. Your table could have like a festival that, and again, like maybe you all think about this like collaboratively as a group, but it's something that I'm not saying do that. I'm just putting it out there so that you don't argue with me.
Got it.
It's like maybe your play like, fuck. Oh god, I have this thought and it's so clear in my head. But okay, so you know how we've been playing the Gilded Canaries game.
Yeah.
We played it for years. If you're playing an ongoing game that maybe time passes, you have a holiday that you bring into the campaign regularly.
Yep.
So that these players go, oh, it's time for this festival again. And you kind of break the game a bit, deal with this festival, deal with like some fun little, like a little interlude, a little Hot Springs episode. And you can redo that. Like maybe in
Everything
your
is
game
anime.
in real life, you do it every June and you like whatever's happening in June, we're going
festivals
to
are
play
really
this
good for
festival.
that.
But maybe you also put it in the world's calendar, and as time passes, like, oh, you did this 2 months ago? Well, great. It's been a year in game, and maybe 3 years later, it's like, okay, well, it's been a year in game, and you just keep like you make it this festival happens constantly. That'd be a great little mechanic.
You did
for a
do
group.
that.
Yeah.
You did do that. That was we had. Well, I mean,
what the fuck are you talking
in
about?
Corridor for a while, you were doing something kind of akin to that, where we always every year around this time of year, we had the holiday session, and you would give out little
Giftmas.
Giftmas, yeah.
Yeah, but that's right. I don't think we did that in game.
We did it in game, but there was an out of game
But it was an
element
out-of-game
to
thing.
it.
Yeah.
I mean, I just and again, I would say our little annual retreat to a cabin and things like that is also kind of the same thing. Yeah.
That's what we do as players. I'm talking about like in game.
But in game,
But
every
it's-
year we have the ICO.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's both in game and
That's
as players.
true because
That's-
it is in game as
It's-
well because
Yeah.
the way that
Oh, yeah.
for the listeners, I guess.
Yeah.
The way that it works is because the icosahedrodome is an extra planar, extra dimensional, out of time thing.
Yeah.
That whenever like it's basically a battle royale, and one year in my campaign, one of the characters was a participant, and so he like basically like had a dream that he was there, but that's actually literally what happened.
And when he came out, he had 1,000
Yeah, he had like a
diamond and whatever he won that year.
Yeah,
like, and that's
so it is canonical,
legitimately
what
that is. I the first, I don't know why I didn't bring this up the first 2 times we tried this episode.
Little peek behind the curtain there.
To our failures.
We said that
it's
already.
Groundhog Day, you know. But yeah, no, that's, you know,
Oh, that's why you said Groundhog Day.
Yeah. I don't actually like Groundhog Day. It's a stupid holiday.
I thought you just liked it.
The movie's
I thought
fine.
you liked the little Kentucky Pete coming
I have a
out,
thing
looking at
about
a
the
shadow.
movie. Bill Murray's character is...
Oh, he's a dick and a half.
He's a dick, but he's also just like sort of a sexual predator.
Oh, he's a sexual predator.
And
Like,
not a good.
yeah.
Not the good.
No, he's a bad man.
All those, like, every comedy movie from that era is just like, oh,
isn't it funny that this person like sexually
such
assaulted
a
this
fucking,
woman?
he's also a fucking douchexpag.
Yeah.
It's like the Adam Sandler shit too.
Yeah.
Except he's
80s,
never a creep actually.
Comedy
He's
hero
always a child. You know?
Yeah.
is a total villain.
Oh yeah,
in today's
100%.
mindset.
100%.
Back to what you're saying, Shade.
Yeah. Anyway, so you can do that where this is now, I think that for your holidays and festivals, there should be an element of like, this is something special for the players as much as it is for their characters. But you can do it on the backdrop side as well, where it's like, I want to just kind of set a tone because there is a like. There are
Halloween is spooky, Christmas is fun and cheery.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's so many tones that can come with a holiday.
Those are the only 2 holidays.
Well, but I mean, to that point, you say Christmas is cheery. You can make Christmas a very scary time as well.
The end of all life as it's just covered in snow.
That's not
Well, I
what
mean,
Christmas is about. Don't touch Christmas.
Christmas
I'll
Carol.
fight you.
A Christmas Carol is a ghost story.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
that's
terrifying. The Ghost of Christmas Future is the Grim Reaper.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of things that you can do with that. It really just kind of depends on what you're wanting to achieve. And I think a more active element is I want to give my players, my player characters something fun to do once. Really quickly.
And right after this break, why don't we, as an example, using some of the tenets we just talked about, build a quick example of one. So we'll see you right after these messages.
Before this break, which came first, Scrooge or Scrooge McDuck?
Hey everyone, it's me, Nick, from the Tabletop Podcast. When I'm not hosting, I'm thinking about ways to create a better podcast for you guys, and I think I landed on something pretty fun. In fact, if you go to our Patreon at patreon.com/tabletop and join for as little as $1 a month, you can get access to a new episode a month that we're going to start putting out. In fact, we're going to be calling this one Wild Magic, I think, in that we're going to talk about anything and everything that interests us, not just TTRPGs, though there will be a lot of that. It is truly unhinged, and if you are a fan of the podcast and all of the hosts, you're definitely going to want to be on it. We're thinking of dropping these at the end of each month, so join our Patreon today. That is patreon.com/tabletop. Oh, and there's going to be so much more coming out in the new year there, so don't miss it. Sign up today. Welcome back to Tabletop.
Scrooge, right?
Yes, it's Scrooge. It's Scrooge.
Are you kidding me, man?
Karl Barks
I just thought, because I saw
Charles Dickens was like, man, I love Scrooge McDuck.
Karl Barks,
the famous animated character.
Scrooge in my head
He's
is
a comic book character.
the guy from
Originally,
Star Trek in the Muppet thing.
Yeah.
And the Muppets and DuckTales happened about the same time.
The guy from Star Trek.
Because they had a Holoduck episode, I assume?
No, the guy from Star Trek was in A Christmas Carol.
Who?
Patrick
Stewart was in a Christmas Carol? When?
No, he's thinking of the guy that actually is Scrooge in the Christmas
in
Carol,
the Muppet
whose
one? Are you talking
name
about the Muppet
is
one?
the Muppet
Michael
one.
Caine?
Michael Caine.
Michael
Michael Caine.
No, Michael Caine was the Scrooge in the Muppet ones.
No, hey, he's
But
right.
Patrick Stewart
there was
was
a
in A Christmas
1999
Carol.
film with Patrick Stewart as Scrooge.
Yeah.
Again, I just want to say,
Wow. Okay.
to
Sorry.
be fair, like confusing, and we can see where
I got
you
the
came
wrong
from.
movie.
Charles Dickens was alive far before.
Karl
Right.
Barks.
Yeah.
And I got that
Yeah.
after I had worked the question out in my
Gotcha.
head for a little bit.
Did you guys? I took a class on Donald Duck. in college.
A class?
Yeah.
What was the purpose?
Welcome to Tangent Corner.
Yeah,
We're going
can
to
you-
go into that because I need to know.
Yeah,
Oh,
can you?
okay.
Can
I
you?
was
no,
just gonna say that.
Can
and
you
then-
just tell me the name of that course?
Well, it wasn't a class about Donald Duck.
Okay,
It was
just
a
like part of a class.
it was a comics class.
Was it,
and it was
grad school or undergrad?
It was undergrad.
Okay.
That
And
sounds like
dope
an
class.
elective.
It's like, should he be wearing pants? We don't know.
the
Only if he's just stepped out of the shower.
it was mostly about Donald Duck, like almost all of it. A little bit like about other Disney comics and stuff. I remember one time a grad student came in to teach us for one class, and he just talked about Robert Crumb, right? The weird racist guy.
Yeah. Sure.
With all the hardcore racist shit. He was like, "Isn't this stuff cool?" And I'm like, "Those are all a lot of racist caricatures he has in his art." What's up with that?
You know what's weird? How cartoon characters will have shirts but no pants until they get out of the shower, and they always wrap the towel around their waist.
That is,
It's like they should wrap it around their shoulders, right? Based on how their own clothing system works.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So we should start So the holiday's
clap
going to be the festival is
Okay.
about Donald Duck.
Okay. It's a worship of a duck-based god.
It's a duck festival.
A duck
It's a duck
festival.
festival.
Oh my god, that's so
All right,
cute.
so
Okay.
let's go through what we were saying. It's a duck
Yes, and
festival.
me.
Yes, and. So we're going to build the duck festival, right? So what, Shade, you were saying right before the break was that this is a chance to bring sort of an event, a purpose, and have like a thing for both the player characters and the players. So what is the like thesis that we're trying to do with this festival, and then we can build towards that?
So I will say for this thing, it's something that out the gate, you're not necessarily planning this to be something that is done year after year with your players and your group, unless it ends up just being buck wild fun.
Yeah, if people are like, I love the fucking duck
A
festival.
buck is a deer, not
I'm
a
sorry,
duck.
Duck wild fun.
Duck
I
wild
apologize.
fun. Come on.
Thank you, Daniel, keeping me on, or Geo,
Geo.
keeping me on task there. I think that this is a chance to lean into absurdism.
Okay.
And that rubber ducks need to play a role in this, like a
effigies.
tangible, but like a tangible thing for your players to interact with.
I object.
Okay.
I don't think rubber's going to be that easy to find, but
What about-
wooden ducks.
Yeah, but what
could
about
be
this?
a thing.
Okay, but I mean the real world players. That's all I was saying.
Oh, you want people to bring rubber ducks to the game,
Or you bring them for them, like it's a tangible thing for the
trophies for the-
players
You
to
can turn it
interact
in.
with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they had that claw machine at most theaters here in New England where you can get, like, you pay $1, you get a fun rubber ducky.
Yeah.
Okay, so how about this for an idea that
It's a lot of
like
programmers in Boston, so that makes sense.
let's say it's a 3-day festival, and on the third day of the festival is the parade of ducks, where everyone builds these sort of like floats that they put in the river,
Parade
and
of
it goes
ducks.
down the river.
Oh, and down the river.
Yeah, and
I
so
love
like
that.
maybe the thing about it is like
Oh, and
What
then
if it's-
and then the last day they make them like those like candles with like lights
Yeah,
or whatever
yeah,
because
yeah,
the
yeah.
ducks are flying back.
hell
That's
yeah.
what I was gonna say. It is the time of year is the migratory period where
Migratory?
the ducks are coming
Migratory.
back, and they put all the ducks into the water to welcome the ducks back to the lake or the pond.
I think
So
this
it's
is
definitely regional. It's definitely like a little town, a little community's holiday.
In fact, it's Duckburg.
It's Duckburg.
It's Duckburg.
Yeah.
And I think that there should be one great thing about festivals is it's an opportunity not only to RP but also to give mini games for your group. And I think that there should be, because it's a 3-day festival.
Yeah.
There is a duck that is lurking around that no one knows where it is, but it is watching things you do. To rip off the this is like I think a Far Side. Yeah, it was a Far Side. Anita Day phobia, which is the irrational fear that somewhere a duck or a goose is watching you.
Well, what about this? We could do this where like maybe there is a town duck that is like a ceremonial piece, but that duck has gone missing.
Yeah.
And so it is like you are all trying to hunt down this duck so that they can bring it and put it into like the ceremonial, like, you know how
the stakes are high because this whole town's relying on it. The stakes are low because like the
It's
world's
a
not
duck.
going to end.
Yeah,
and you
yeah,
can't
yeah,
find
yeah,
this duck.
Yeah.
and like there are other ducks, they put it all, but like the whole thing is like they put the duck in the water, and if it flies away, then that means something, going off the Groundhog Day thing. But if it stays, it means something.
Yeah.
So they need this duck for the ceremony.
Yeah.
But the duck has gone missing.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. That gives the little quest for the group. that
to interact with the rest of the stalls and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you say quest, but make it kind of sound like quack?
I'm sorry, a little quest.
A little quest. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll workshop it. Rock tumble it. Right. Okay, so we're in this town. We have to find the duck before the last day. I think that there should be mini games like you could try to build like a float, like one of the duck floats. You can maybe there's like a duck feeding game because that can be super scary.
And actually, because your players are in the town and they're experiencing like festival, the games could actually be full sized.
That's true. You could bring little games in for people to do.
Yeah.
I mean, like if you're building a float, you want to build an actual float that people could ride on. So you don't want to make a little derby float.
Yeah.
You want to make an actual full size float.
Well, I mean, to that point, you could also like I've never done this, but I've seen people do like rubber duck races.
Yeah.
Sure. That's like a thing that you could do in actuality for your players.
You know,
oh, guys, fucking A. You know that game where you have all the ducks in like a little lazy river?
Yep.
When you got to pick up the duck that has like the green tab? The duck, maybe it's intentional. They release the duck into like the pond with all the other ducks, but one duck has like a little golden wrapper on its leg. So you got to just catch ducks.
I love that.
And hope that you find the right duck.
So that would be like at the end, maybe you, like if you're successful in finding this, like the duck with the gold thing on it.
Yeah.
That is like you get to play this game and like all that kind of stuff.
I have something really dumb.
Yeah.
There's also a game of dodgeball.
I
Because
love
you've
it.
got a duck.
So you have the duck. I was like, why are you throwing a ball at a duck? I don't like that. And then you said that joke, and I was like, yes.
And maybe like instead of a ball, it's like sort of like a duck-shaped thing that like magically is like thrown across the.
Like the golden snitch, but a duck that's magically enchanted. Oh, because if you want to play, you can wear like this little fun little hat.
Yeah.
And the magic duck flies towards these hats. So everyone's
Yeah,
like
there
running
you
around.
go.
And if you want to stop, and again, it's just like a fun little
That
thing.
actually would be
People in
very
the town
fun. Of
can-
like it's like tag, except
Yeah.
like like the duck has certain amount of movement speed per round, and everyone's trying to run away from the
Yeah,
duck,
yeah.
and like casting cantrips on each other to like freeze them up and stuff like that, so the duck hits them.
And then the last thing I'll just throw out there, but
Everything's been gold so far, my bro.
I would say that there's some sort of like charitable donation game where the person who has racked up the best bill will actually have like, receive like 50% off of their total spendings.
That's cool. I love
something like that.
Yeah. Get it, guys, because it's a duck bill.
Yeah, that was the joke.
Because of the bill,
Okay, so we built like this little festival. Is there anything else like a festival really needs? Like we have a quest that the people can go on if they want to find the duck with the gold.
What food is being served?
Not duck.
Not duck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not duck.
Bread.
Like,
Can I?
Yeah, breads and like
Breads and fishes, stuff that you
Can
would
I
find
bring a
in a pond.
tangent?
Yeah.
So you all know I used to have a
Have a
pet
duck,
duck.
yeah.
Named Angus.
Angus Danger McFlapperson. Good
I didn't
strong
know his full name.
Yeah, that was his full name.
Christian name.
Full name. When he sadly passed, and I apologize, Jackie, for bringing this up, in case you listen, I had a few people ask me how he tasted in the end. And I each time ask them how they think their pet will taste.
Because you know that's
later
weird.
on.
You see those little signs that it's like, you wouldn't eat a dog, so don't eat a horse.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, A,
I've eaten horse.
you don't eat a pet, but B, also don't tell me what I can't eat. Like, you
Yeah.
don't know where I'm... No, that's against your point.
No, but hey, if we want to get into a vegan conversation, we could, I guess. But but the issue was just like, and they immediately, because I'm good at
indicating
distaste, at frowning at people. It's a good skill I have, and they immediately like try and backtrack, and I'm just like, no, we're getting into this now.
Yeah.
Tell me precisely how Fido's gonna taste in a few years.
Yeah.
So anyway, fuck people like that. So we're not having duck at this festival.
I mean, there could be like a random encounter
dog.
where like a traveling salesman completely misreads
Oh
the
my
event.
god.
Like brings in the stall of like duck legs or whatever, and everyone's like, "Wah!"
Duck festival. I was like, I've got duck wares.
Let's hang the duck salesman.
Oh, a magic item. A fun, silly magic item. There are two magic items. Number one are like these webbed feet that give you a slow swim speed.
Oh, okay.
And like limited or give you
Dive
advantage
skill or
advantage on like
Holding your breath.
however,
Are you doubling
holding your
the time
breath?
you can
Yeah,
hold your breath?
exactly, something
Yeah.
like that. And then
Or
another
fly
one,
speed.
and then like capes that will give you like duck wings to fly. Yeah.
I love that.
Anyway,
So we have a
Don't
basic
give them
thing.
fly.
Oh,
give your players fly.
I also
Never
love
give
the
your
idea
keyboard-
that, like,
never
at
give your
some
players
point in
fly.
this adventure, you get a duck familiar.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
that could be a thing. Yeah.
That'd be a great for the
cool.
players to take with them forever. Remember that time you guys did that festival and now you have Ducky?
What if like during the festival it's just like a really specific space or whatever it is, it's like enchanted somehow.
Yeah.
But like everything that people do, any spell that you cast or any magical effect has some kind of duck quality to it.
Oh yeah.
Like if you cast magic missile, that's ducks. If
Yeah.
you
If you cast knock, it's the sound of a duck.
yeah, it's a
quacking.
quack. yeah. Or like if you have
Wall
like
of
mage
force.
armor, yeah, it's all feathers, it's all
yeah.
down or whatever. You know?
Oh god.
I like that as not an enchantment on the area, but as like a person who's
Like a
like
curse.
who's got not a curse, but like a person like a vendor. It's like, oh, I have these potions. Drink this potion, and your spells will do duck stuff for a while.
Oh yeah.
So people are like, oh yeah, I want to have fun with like the duck stuff. 'cause
That's kind of it's kind of a fun like silly item to just have in your inventory or whatever. It's like today I want to have duck themed spells.
Yeah,
And
maybe like
boy.
if they find the duck and like they actually do the quest rather than just like fuck about or whatever, which is totally fine if they want to do that. But maybe if they find this, then the like mayor of the town or whatever gives them like an item that allows them, or like the duck god
the
gives.
mayor's
them a
name is
feat.
Mal.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like-
very good.
And then like maybe like the duck god like bestows a boon that like once per long rest they can
duck
like
god.
converse with ducks specifically
Oh, 'cause-
or whatever, like speak with animals kind of thing.
Because in Koronor, obviously the gods are like aspects of nature, but yeah, so a pond that everyone like really like the god would of course be duck-like, 'cause that's what everyone's putting into it.
Yeah.
And so you would have this. Oh, you'd have a duck god of the lake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that would be part of like, so the festival works in Koronor already. As like these people have just created this duck spirit deity of the pond and forest. And like it blesses people this one time a year, and this is how they interact with it.
It's fine.
And also, I think the amount of stuff that you give players, like especially with festivals, in my experience, people like the stupid, weird, like funny boons way more than like the Cape of Fire Resistance.
Yeah, the Cape of Billowing is very popular.
Yeah, and so it just becomes like a thing where it's like, yeah, I get this free speak with animals where ducks are just sort of like reverent towards me. Like they're like, oh, like you are blessed by the duck god. Like let me help you out throughout the rest.
Yeah,
duck touch.
It's
duck touch.
duck touch.
Duck touch.
It's a cape that water just runs off your back.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
kind of helpful actually. That wouldn't be
cape
not
that
helpful.
You can't get wet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean you could
The ever
absolutely-
dry cape.
Yeah, you
that's
could
not useless.
absolutely find a use for that.
Like,
Yeah.
100%.
like in that room where we were saying like where the oil was like going or whatever, you could like throw your
Ooh.
cape over the little like thing so that it
Yeah.
would just like flow over it or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
fun stuff.
Because it wouldn't soak through.
Exactly. All right, so we've built this silly little festival, the
Ugh.
Duck Festival. We've come up with a basic
Fest.
idea, a quest, things people can do inside, and even some antagonists like the Duck Vendor. Is there anything? I think the last thing that we kind of talked about before is sort of like random tables that people can roll. I'm looking at you, Franco, because you are our kind of expert at like
Table pervert.
yeah, table pervert.
He's fine.
no, I'm just saying that he has more examples of games that integrate tables or randomized tables.
Wow,
much
you're really
more.
putting me on the spot. Okay.
Yes, you better not fuck up.
It's a 3-day festival.
Gotcha.
There is a 2d6 table. In the middle is every duck friend that you have. The 2 is a dragon, but it's shaped like a duck. A 12, it's Mallory,
It's
the
a-
duck
it's a
wizard.
drake.
Huh?
It's a drake in that case.
Drake, yeah.
No, ducks are cultured.
And then it's the things that you can do. When you roll on a table, there's a couple 2d4 goblins come out and wear duck helmets.
Maybe the goblins are trying to pretend to be ducks to like steal the little like golden ring around the duck, and so they're the ones who's like have stolen it or something.
Yeah, I do like
Yeah.
that.
And so like you can randomize seeing like these goblins pretending to be ducks or whatever.
They're trying to awaken an evil duck that will cause the great quack
unduck.
quake.
The unduck.
The unduck.
Or we don't even have to like again because we're raising the stakes to like cataclysmic levels. What if the goblins just like to eat ducks and it's like you're ruining our fun.
That would be a bummer.
We're not doing it right now.
Real quick, I like that better,
but they
also,
sneak around stealing ducks instead
they're
of
not
the
doing
duck
it
vendor.
openly.
Yeah.
And also, I think that if we're going to do an evil duck, which we've decided not to, it would be the Mallard.
Yeah.
Like with the knife
that's
in
very
there.
I think
good.
we all
It's
knew
evil.
that. You didn't have to say it. I'm just kidding.
We kind of already did because we named the mayor Mal.
Yeah, I
Adam
got it.
Yeah, so we were
Duck
fine.
Millardo.
Duck Millardo is a very funny name.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. So that's how you make a festival. Hope you guys like it.
Yeah, chew on that.
See you next year.
Take care.
For Duck Millardo.
Everyone. Bye.
Bye.